YNW Melly has been sitting in jail for a few years. The media has been keeping the footage of him in jail silent for some weird reasons. Today I'll be sharing all of the footage of YNW Melly in jail, plus share exclusive evidence about his court case, which could sadly lead to him facing life in prison. Now let's get straight into it. Now YNW Melly's first appearance to the public while behind bars was very heartwarming. These photos of YNW Melly was released after an interview with DJ Academics while behind bars. YNW Melly looks like he was in good spirits, flexing his diamond grills while on the jail phone. In the interview with DJ Academics, YNW Melly stated the following, and I quote, "I spoke with YNW Melly on the phone. He confidently told me, I'm coming home in 2021. And not only that, but DJ Academics also said, and I quote, he sang 3 of the songs that he wrote in jail, and he said he made a whole album in there. He can't wait for everyone to hear. He said most of his fans' favorite songs he made while in jail, so he's used to it." Now this was the first interview with YNW Melly while he was behind bars. Sadly, Melly did not get released in 2021, and he won't be at all. But this leads us into his next appearance. In this one, YNW Melly is in court with YNW Bortland, the man that he was arrested with in the case of YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser's passing. YNW Melly is seen with Bortland sitting in the chairs awaiting to see a judge. From these photos you can tell YNW Melly looks very confident again. And during this court hearing, YNW Melly and his lawyer asked the judge for a bond until trial starts. YNW Melly was actually denied bond, but the most concerning thing of all was that YNW Bortland was granted bond. Now this proves that the law enforcement have serious evidence on YNW Melly. It was during this court session that the law enforcement told the judge that they have evidence of YNW Melly literally admitting to doing the act towards Juvie and Sack Chaser. The law enforcement stated this piece of evidence while in court. They said, and I quote, "Then also we have a video of Mr. Demons admitting to doing an act towards 2 individuals in the head." Now obviously I had to change a few words in that statement, but you understand at what I'm saying. In the next document it states, and I quote, "This video was on Mr. Demon's cell phone, which was brought to my office by Jameson Francis, and that is how we had that, and that's all the evidence Your Honor has." So this actually leads us into the most important footage of YNW Melly in prison. YNW Melly released his newest album, and while doing the promotion run, YNW Melly actually got himself into a lot of trouble within jail. YNW Melly released this photo of him wearing a Gucci headband and Gucci shoes while inside of jail. He also added a caption to these photos by saying, and I quote, "To all my fans, I love y'all and I truly appreciate y'all. The Broward County Jail main jail lieutenant has now confiscated my Gucci shoes and my Gucci sock headband due to the promotion video that I posted for my album In Just a Matter of Slime last Friday, and they have now taken my video visitation privileges for 90 days. So I can't interact with my family and fans through video visit anymore, but the risk was worth it. We went #1. They can take my shoes, socks, and visits, but they cannot take that #1 away. I did it for y'all." Now after all of this went down, that footage is going to be the last footage of YNW Melly that we will see until his trial begins. The jail has actually now taken it upon themselves to have more strict rules when it comes to YNW Melly. But huge things have been happening in YNW Melly's case now. YNW Melly's trial is now set to begin on March 7th, 2022. Prosecutors have now asked YNW Melly for his DNA as well as body measurements to recreate the crime scene that they believed happened. YNW Melly and his lawyers agreed to giving prosecutors that information in exchange for a speedy trial. Now this can mean many different things. YNW Melly and his lawyers are asking for a speedy trial for a huge reason, as with the trial starting in 175 days, if prosecutors are not ready and don't have valid evidence to sentence Melly to life in prison, then YNW Melly will be getting released from jail with all charges dropped. All of YNW Melly's charges will be discharged forever under the Florida law. Law enforcement has needed years to get the evidence on YNW Melly. Melly and his lawyers are now taking the gamble, hoping that they will not come up with any sort of significant evidence with the speedy trial. Now, in that court hearing, we were also given an update as to why law enforcement wanted YNW Melly's DNA. In case you're unaware, on October 20th, his court files were updated. Prosecutors were requesting the Broward County judge to force YNW Melly into giving DNA in order to help solve the case. YNW Melly's lawyers asked in court, what's the point of needing Melly's DNA to figure out whether or not he was in the car? YNW Melly has already admitted to being in the car when the act was done. It was at this point when prosecutors got silent and allegedly motioned a recess in the courtroom. It almost seems as if prosecutors are reaching for evidence the best they can, although they still do have some very concerning evidence. Now, I was able to pull some of the evidence files from the courtroom. The first one starts by saying, and I quote, "These particular cell phones, which were both iPhone 10s, were on the T-Mobile network." Now, T-Mobile has a very interesting feature where it will tell you the environment that the cell phone is in. So from these cell phone records, I can tell you the exact moment demons got out of the car and staged the drive-by location. Now, this is some huge evidence, as right now law enforcement believes that YNW Melly did the act towards Juvie and Sack Chaser for many different reasons. But one of the main and biggest reasons was that YNW Melly took 40 minutes to get Juvie and Sack Chaser medical attention after a so-called drive-by occurred. He didn't call for an ambulance, he didn't rush them to the hospital himself. Instead, they sat at the location for roughly 40 minutes before getting them any sort of medical attention. And that is why law enforcement truly believe that Melly ended up doing the act towards both of them and then used that 40 minutes to rough up their vehicle to make it appear as if a drive-by occurred. And the sad part is that Juvie and Sack Chaser's parents also believe that happened as well. But if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'll keep you up to date with everything going on with Melly. Anyways, it's been District Trending, and I'm out. Peace.